one we today we need, which we need. Then that's it. Then we give scholarships to the kids, and that's it. Are we going to make them ambassadors to spearhead these things? So, exactly. And when we talk about these things, I think it should transcend beyond who has the knowledge.
Okay.
One or been now, but to answer questions. We should look at people who are passionate about these things, like the climate change thing we did. They did. Bayani did with the kids.
Okay.
They had kids who were passionate about it. They didn't just pick kids who were brilliant, but the kids who understood what it means to not to distill gutters in their houses and not put rubbish in their houses. So pick contestants who are passionate about it, so that it doesn't die after the competition. So they can become advocates for healthcare, and it becomes something that we look forward to with these people, and then it becomes something national. These kids can go on to become DCs, and these people are people we knew from there. They have the foundation to think about policies that can enhance the better living of Ghanaians.
Anyway, let me remind you that you can join our conversation by sending your thought on the stories we are reading through our WhatsApp and text number 0202085888, 0202085888. You can send us a text or WhatsApp on the stories and bring your contributions. Now, still on Metro Lens this morning, it says that the NHIS squeeze for SHS, I just said, government killing local farmers with import anodon press, says this one. NHIA PCR, PCR4UHC market deba. I don't know what this means, but I'll try and find out what this abbreviations mean. Market Deba registers 10,372 in Volta region. Now, Samia Wuku files RTI request seeking answers on MV Sankofa controversy. Gold Board donate 86,454 to Ghana cedis to fund life-saving surgeries for 10-year-old with brain tumor. And that's a good initiative there. Now, the Ghanaian Point newspaper says that Mohammed's pro-business reforms a catalyst for Ghanaian enterprise growth. KGL says this one. Now, teacher recruitment, we can only clear 7,000 out of the 40,000 for now. Haruna Idrisu. Yesterday we mentioned the issues of teachers
we
here.
spoke about it. Yeah.
And this is the update. The minister says that they can only clear 7,000 out of the 40,000.
They opened the pot, 40,000 register, but they want only 7. But he said he needed 7,000 even before the portal was open. So as to whom would go and apply for it, if 100,000 he wants 7,000. I think he took a cue from the whole military immigration thing. Because they just opened it and said people can apply. But they knew for a fact that they only needed about 20,000 of them. So he being proactive about it says, I need 7,000. But I've opened the portal because I want it to be free and fair.
And I'm sure there were no monetary, commitments with this one.
Not this one.
Yeah.
Not this one. I think when it comes to teachers, is it? They be our young but you know when we enjoy it, young school now you teach fees. What allowance account?
All right, still on the Ghanaian Point news, but says state dominance has weakened private sector growth. J. Kufuor, you can find his picture there as well. Ghana rejoins regional WASI as 473,658 million candidates prepare for 2026 exams. No foreign military bases or troop in Ghana under EU security deal, Foreign Ministry clarifies. And onto the Daily Searchlight, it says ex gratia payments charge investigate Ato forcing, and Afenyo Markins rebukes court decision in Baba Amando case while praising police conduct. Retrogressive, this one says court remands Baba Amando for 10 days. And that story, you can find it on from the front page of the Daily Searchlight.
Okay, so we go to the Informer. They are saying nothing but the truth. Let's see how good that is. Varsity Dawn challenges A+. The Varsity Dawn.
Yesterday's story.
Yesterday's story challenges A+ to prove land grabbing allegations by Mahama Pontis. GRA boss halted payments to SML over controversial contract. And also on the Daily, on the Informer, it says police gunned down 2 armed robbers after attack on Momo Venda in Tema. I think this is the one that please dismiss.
Yeah.
Anyway, EduWatch urges
They
dispatched the armed robbers. EduWatch urges fair teacher deployment over the stalled KJTR Phase 2 project. Traders gave government 1 month ultimatum. Yeah, the ultimatum wasn't man. I'm wondering what they would do. Oboko striker. Anyway, we head over to the overseer, and 49-year-old Benin finance minister wins presidency with 94% landslide. Hey. Aziz Donlat declares intent to contest NDC Upper West Regional Communication Officer position. Ghana seeks stronger World Bank support as finance minister meets Anna Jerde at spring meetings. And then scandal hunting gone wrong. Samuel Owuku withdraws out RTI request to Ghana Maritime Authority. And in the new crusading guide, ex-gratia payments blew. To what that means, only God knows. Shraj probes Ato Forsen, and Tremaso youth go bonkers. Block highway, burn tires over Galamsey killing. RNAQ case, FIDA condemns judge. Samuel Oku demands detailed answers from Maritime Authority over M/V Sankofa saga. And then private developer takes over public school land. DC planning boss stand accused education minister petitioned. That you'd have find that over there. IDU leadership pays Katsiko Onungwa Manche.
Away onto the front page of the Chronicles newspaper this morning says IGP Yonu promote 10 plucky cops who foiled armed robbery attack in Tema. Now I think the strategy is very good. If any of the personnel get involved into any major thing,
and then push
promotion,
but the money go behind here.
Oh, why they do that?
See, the promotion go behind here, so the corruption they're okay.
Every promotion. Oh, recently they've been bribed in various operations that they've returned the money.
And these things make headlines, but the 1 CD, 2 CD for roadside.
That one is well done. That one is well done. So these personnel have been promoted, or there's a promotion for them. NPP USA members reject revised election guidelines. You can find that story there. Baba Amanda remanded for allegedly altering Mahama and other photos as well. Away to the Source newspaper this morning, on the front banner headline says ex-gratia payment, Shraj investigate Ato Forsen. You can find the story there. And then RNAQ cases, FIDA petition CJ over judges comment. You can find the story there. MPP Massachusetts chapter takes on party stripe JFK, and Ghana Cocoa Connect 2026 summit opens in the Hague. Also on the Cowbank records 326.7 million first quarter revenue. You can find the story on the Source newspaper. The Daily Gist this morning says Samuel Oku invokes RTI law to probe MV Sankofa drug saga, and then Strach probes Ato Forsen over ex-gratia payment. The story also is the drama in court as Baba Mando caged over Facebook post. Freedom of speech, but you go check. I don't know if you've been following that story.
No.
FIDA petition CJ over judges' conduct in RNAQ divorce case. SAC ECG engineers over Ashanti Region Dumso NDC chairman claims this one. Former CID boss Tom Scott with defamation suit. You can find that story over there.
Okay, so to the Daily Statesman, unpaid teachers threaten protest today. And then government undermining local farmers with imports. Minority says IERPP presses finance minister on Publican AI deal. This Publican AI deal is becoming something. We need partnership to drive development. Kufuor urges leaders to rise above partisan politics, and FIDA petitions Chief Justice over RNAQ divorce ruling. I don't know what that has to do with Chief Justice.
Well, there's going to be an appeal, but they thought the judge misconducted herself, so
they want the Chief Justice to set in.
They want the right, judgment should be given.
But all the way to Chief Justice.
It will take effect sharp.
Yo, so open headlines into it one more. The new publisher says hands off business. Kufuor insists states must not compete with private sector. In 30,000 classrooms without teachers, government denies presence of foreign military troops. Attempt to bury 5-month baby girl alive lands apostle in cell. And then government killing local farmers with inputs. Another prayer blasts NDC.
The Inquisitor this morning redefining objectivity says economic recovery. WB hails Ghana and they are collecting cash from illegal miners. Amenfi East NDC chairman accuses MCE police commander. Why is this issue always coming back? That there are people on the ground extorting money from illegal miners and giving them permission to keep mining. Illegal miners. Illegal, but they are still mining. And the people, they'll go and extort them, take cash.
And they allow them to go. So you should know who is going there to do the extortion. If you're not a person of authority, because it will still come back to you. And see, we know who the people who are doing this.
Well, Ghana pushes leadership in global digital standard and over 5.3 million malaria cases recorded in Ghana in 2025. This one also in here. And away to the news center, it says risky health trade-off. Government abandons agenda 111 for 350 health posts. MTN open to partnerships to build data centers in Ghana. Mopita. You can find that story on the news center newspaper. Again, it says gold trade fuels Ghana's export surge to Asia and Middle East. Coalition of think tanks propose 1.65 Ghana city fuel tax cut. You can find the story on the strike against public AI not called off. According to the forum, you can see over there. And away to the Ghanaian publisher, it says import interest behind maize lies. And this is coming in from the minority. It says the import interest behind maize lies, all those in quotes. Now, RNAQ case, FIDA petitions Chief Justice, Ghana trade powers Ghana's Asia, Gold Coast, gold trade powers Ghana's Asia export boom. Baumia did not lie or flip-flop, Dr. Provincial writes. And also in there, away to the Daily Guide newspaper, it says 6 caged over 14.3 million Ghana cedis at Dabraka gold robbery, and you can find their photos on the front page, blurred as well. FIDA petition CJ over RNAQ divorce judge, and baby Berry case, pastor 2 others remanded. Cape 3 Points declared marine protected area, and state control weakens private sector. Kufuor says this one.
Okay, so to the Daily Analyst, they are saying they are without fear or favor, and in their 15th April Wednesday paper says Mahama launches free primary health care policy today. 350 health posts planned across 150 districts, and Ghana's economic progress needs public-private partnership. Kufuor says that when Afinya marking fumes at Circuit Court judge over unjustified remand order, and in Ghana rules out foreign military bases. This matter, Igoha, defend pact with EU, and you'd have Kujetua Blackwell's picture right there. Unpaid teachers threaten massive protest on Wednesday, April 15th. In Nungwa Palace hosts global diaspora delegation in strategic partnership talks. And in the Daily Graphic, at IMF, I think we've gone through this particular one, and then the custodian, they're also saying fearless, fair, and reliable. Over 100 teachers left Gushegu over housing shortage. MP and government makes local farmers poor without inputs. Minority decries. NDC government in court and cover up arrests to divert attention from LGBTQ plus pressure, oral and 24-hour economy failures, and we know where that is also coming from. We have Muhammad's picture, we have Yohonu's picture, we have Okuja 2 in Sam George in there. And Jasican Diocese gets new bishop with calls for unity. And then Most Reverend Simon Kofi Appiah, newly installed Catholic Bishop of Jasican Diocese, picture over there. And CSOs propose 0.65 Ghana cedi fuel tax cut. And that is by way of the newspapers for this morning.
That's right. Let me just bring you some of the stories also on the front pages. And this morning you can log on to twradio.ghana.com to check out some stories also on there. But let me read out this. This one says, FIDA demands urgent retaining of judges over dangerous divorce ruling. You can find this on the online platforms. An LGBTQ bill, you can't trade jobs for value. Bishop Jemfi rejects government priority argument and put bill before him. He will sign. Yilo Krobo, MP backs Mahama on LGBTQ plus law. And dangerous signal, Bishop Jemfi warns Mahama is not taking LGBTQ bill seriously. And unpaid teachers threaten massive protest today. Teachers issue are in again. Well, let me go into that story a bit. I'm interested. And the story says that the national organizer for the Coalition of Unpaid Teachers, Eugene Zurano Segbefia, says members will begin an indefinite protest at the Ministry of Finance on Wednesday, April 15, if the government fails to provide a clear payment plan for their salary arrears. And while speaking with the media, Mr. Segbefia revealed that some teachers have worked for between 7 to 18 months without pay. He says, we have teachers who have worked between 7 to 18 months without salary. As we speak, we don't even know whether the government will fulfill its obligation to us. He lamented and he explained that despite multiple engagement with key authorities, including the Director General of the Ghana Education Service and the Minister of Education, there has not been any concrete timeline for payment. Teachers, this is one more time the teachers in the news.
Let's go.
7 to 18 months. You say you're tired there.
Yanko.
But let me know what you think of the entire stories we've had so far on 0202-085-888, 0202-085-888. So this also is in the news. The teachers will be on a protest this morning. I'm sure perhaps they've started gathering at the Ministry of Finance already. And on to some other stories. Physically attractive comment sparks outrage. FIDA accuses judge of gender bias. That story is really running through today. I always pray for Nigeria to get its act together. Mahama on regional stability. Israel and Lebanon hold first direct talks. You can find that story also on the online portals as well. Like I said, you can log on to twradiogh.com for more stories. Also log on to our Facebook page and all our social media platforms at TW88.9 on Facebook as well, and get to see some of the stories over there. Before we go into it, Nana, any takes on the story so far?
I would want to speak on the Mahama bit from the point, the Ghanaian point. Mahama's pro-business reforms a catalyst for Ghanaian enterprise growth, and KGL is in there. The same KGL now, Mahama could have wanted to win his Kasemi. Then once you see, I also will praise Mahama here. So they are saying that they are open to any form of scrutiny. It would show that their business with the Lotofon is crunching. Anyway, but then that particular initiative, I think it stems on the Mahama's 24-hour flagship initiative Okade Obey Implement. Yeah. And I'm only seeing this in connection to what we started, the discussion we started yesterday concerning where the Cape Coast mayor is taking this whole 24-hour thing to on was signing a contract for establishing a 24-hour market. And we were having a discussion about how even actually left okay, I'm here Kingswich here and then an Afro side there's a market there that needs to be completed, which we know is about 86% done. And I also want to talk about the fact that the policies and the initiatives that Mahama wants to put in this 24-hour economy, and for which he has been praised about. Started after a whole year of waiting, and yesterday started marketing. Some of those policies some of those initiatives are in the agriculture sector. They want to focus on climate smart practices in the manufacturing and industrialization. They want to support factories to run continuous production lines, and also infrastructure and construction, encouraging round-the-clock work on public and private projects. And also in the creative art tourism, position Ghana as a 24-hour hub for entertainment and culture. And the list goes on and on and on and on. I also want to point out today, we are in Cape Coast. Regardless of whoever's listening to us, whether from here all the way through to Accra, but we are situated here in Cape Coast. So Cape Coast is at our hearts, the TWO God's Premium Urban Brand. So we want to speak on the matter of what Mahama is getting praised about, just the 24-hour economy thing. Now, trickling down to Cape Coast, we have a mayor who says he's going to implement this year. They are already signing contracts with an investor or a contractor to put up markets, 24-hour markets, and we are hearing on a friend and a Holy Child of one a side and them not yet today as well. But then we'd have somebody in the studio to speak on that. But also, we have this whole 8-year development plan. We are looking for, again, 75 million cities to implement. You see how Mita Kando says they're going to be, today Mahama is going to unveil the free healthcare thing over 150 districts. Now, are we going to partake in that? Again, looking at the 8-year development plan now, me also too, there are certain agendas where they have this proposed chip compound designs even as in that portfolio up there. So are they going to align this 8-year development plan to what Mahama is going to establish, which is the free healthcare, so that although Yepedi chip compounds, there are buildings and things that structures as Opedi will see, how are we going to incorporate our vision of this 8-year development plan to what Mahama is doing? Or they lobby my Baha, because it's just 150 districts. And we don't know where those districts are going to come from, because we know we have constituencies and then districts on that district level. So, lobby net was a ba, ne ya shall say, near Tintima, near started ye case see more chip compounds. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, because there is a broader agenda for it. Now, Mahama is rolling out this free healthcare. We have an agenda for building chip compounds in our 8-year development plan. How feasible are we going to make that into that agenda of the national thing? Do you get what I'm saying? I will draw all those things. So it's a call to the minister for a central region. It's a call to the MPs, even though we know they are policy makers, but these people go in and they can lobby for some of these initiatives to come to Ghana, to come to Cape Coast, so that we know that if we're still getting 75 million Ghana cedis, we are already catering for these chip compounds that Oka plan home. There are other also initiatives that I think they don't require so much of capital intensiveness to start, and some of those plans are part of their chapter 2, and then in there it says social protection. Some of those implementations will be implementing people with disability programs and activities, child right promotion and protection, liaison with traditional authority to reduce the social stigma of associated teenage pregnancies. All of these things, they want to do this. But the question is, have they gone into any partnership with the Ministry for Gender, Children and Social Protection? Social service, this is what we want to do. So then, how feasible is it for us to implement these things? Because I know these are government-funded institutions like Social Welfare, Ministry for Gender, Children and Social Protection. These are already established entities. They are supposed to be spearheading these things. So this is not something that you are telling me it's out of the box. There's stigma on teenage pregnancies. It's very rampant over there. Teenage pregnancies, from school, all of these things. in fee districts neighborhood and starting to implement them in me. There are already institutions that are responsible for these things. So how are you liaising your vision of this area development plan?
But the institutions meant for them will also still need some monetary support to take the initiative.
Which is why I'm saying, sir, 75 million now. Already war hot the in the abazina one here or bobwa send there back at the oye our wing fancy number vision as but there's nothing in here that tells us though if one says you are liaising with traditional all those things but these are people from the grassroots one assassinate one but the government institutions, are you liaising with them? Do you know what is actually the things that they need to implement these things because they are responsible for them.
Yeah.
That means like I said, or they 75 in your. So if you're going to do an 8-year development plan and you need this amount of money, how much have already come into? Because when they went to Accra to do, and I have a qualm about that, the fact that fundraising if you keep going, just go on credit.
Oh, to tap into a larger audience.
Brother, one of Ukromo phone Ukabia. Charlotte, in your hand with you. So we get that you want to tap into that. But the people over there, do they care enough about your 8-year development plan? The institutions that are responsible for some of these initiatives that you want to put in place, are they in tandem with your vision? Do you know what they need? Because a before problem if baby being you solve. There are already grassroots problems that we need to face, which is why we are calling on them. This whole 24-hour thing. Like I said, the Misikana as a construct new 24-hour markets. These initiatives and that money can go into them because you have an 8-year development plan. It is not when you get the money and Sana starts because who 8 year now the SA me you already have 4 years to go. As let's say if you are a government appointee, a Mahama appointee, already you have 4 years to go. HR1, we know for a fact that he's going on a media tour. No, I don't know why for this 1 year. But in that 1 year, no, you had this plan already. So how are you implementing some of these plans that require the money that you are going to put in funnel into this whole 24-hour thing? Like into the Musha that I'm reading, Mahama step, the agriculture and fintechs, all of these things. This is something Mahama wants to do. If you want to implement anything from there, it should be in tandem with what Mahama is doing. So is Mahama the one asking you to go in there and find the land and do something new? Or is Mahama telling you what is feasible here on the land? If I want to start this 24-hour thing, do I have to now go and look for infrastructure? Do I have to now go and look for things, security? Do I have to now go and look for how to drive traffic there? As a question, I friend I'm but this keep a friend. Kingsway in itself is like where all the businesses drive to. Your banks, the heart of your banks were high, and the indigenous over here was one that. So you already have the traffic. Security-wise, they are here to protect it. When it comes to the infrastructure, it's already up and running. So not running, but it's already up. Or you put the running as a account. So these are things that we need to look into and have conversations about.
Well, let me remind ourselves that this morning we'll be having that conversation as well, especially on Friday. We got the news that the mayor of Cape Coast, Honorable George Justice Arthur, led the signing of a contract for the construction of a 24-hour economy model market for the Central Regional, for Central Region. This happened at the Central Regional Coordinating Council on Friday. So this morning we'll have that conversation. The questions that you are asking, say, why is the Anafo market not completed? Why have we neglected it? And why are we looking for a fresh land and all that? Hopefully, we'll get to find answers this morning on the show. But let me remind you that we're streaming live on Facebook at TW Radio 88.9. I've got some messages here as well. You can also send us your messages, your contributions on 0202085888. Now, this one says that Engineer Shamaba, Western Regional NASCAR organizer, says, good morning, senior host. Factually, Rodomont Aid Lifestyle won't help MPP 2028, and for that matter, their short memory will still let them down. Greetings to Mr. Piete Prince, principal of Ankafo Psychiatric Hospital Nursing Training School. So this is coming in from that. This one says, what is NHIS quiz for?
But let me diffuse this. To anybody who's listening to us, we are not politically inclined to anybody. We are not here to talk about politics. We're here to talk about governance.
Okay.
We're here to talk about holding people in public positions accountable for the things that they are supposed to do for the indigents. And see, any critics that are coming in should be geared towards the issues at hand, not to state a Rabama Brofo Rodom Montad, the crowd crying, and they are boasting, they are talking, they are inflated talks. We get that. I'm in Brofana Panipi, but it shouldn't be laced with any political agenda whatsoever. So that is something that anybody listening to us should bear in mind.
Okay, so the another message here says was asking, what is the NHIS quiz for SHS? What about the National Science and Math quiz? The person is asking. You didn't add your name. This one says, Roy and Nana, good morning. I hope you guys are doing well. IGP promoting the officers who took down the armed robbers is the way to go. My name is Frederick from Yamransa. Enjoying your show. Thank you very much, Frederick. Keep listening. And this says, okay.
So let me explain the 2026 NHIS Inter-Regional Quiz Competition is a public education project designed to deepen senior high school students' understanding of the National Health Insurance Scheme, promoting responsible health-seeking behavior and awareness of benefits, exemptions, and members' responsibilities, and it aims to achieve universal health coverage by fostering long-term participation in the scheme among youth people. So this is coming from the NHIS portal. So there's that.
All right, so that by way of explanation to that you asked. Now this one says, good morning, Sir Roy. My name is Alex. Yesterday you talked about the sachet water prices. There's a shop in my area selling a bag for 12 cedis.
Wow.
When I asked why the increase, she said fuel prices have gone up. I don't know about how.
Which is it's like I explained the last time with inflation. The fuel prices have gone up because of the war, yes. But in Tibia, other for car. But how do you shoot something out from? And what brand is it? Because we have brands. Your brands, you've been to 106, you've been to 107.
Yeah.
Some sell as far as 10 cities already. So he shouldn't tell you there what's the fuel price. Even tell. The main reason is because rubber now was the yen. On the CCR, why short? There's shortage on that, and which is because it comes from the Middle East side. Into importation, I know why isn't it? Don't yet fuel price. But people are just looking for excuses to inflate prices.
Fuel price. Charlie. Well, this one also says, good morning, Sir Roy. I am Enoch from Interbetin. I don't understand why the NDC government is running from the LGBTQ. It was a major during their campaign, so why are they not signing the bill? Listen, our kids are watching cartoons, and this LGBTQ has now been incorporated in them. What kind of message are we telling the kids? We should be serious as a nation, because this is not our thing. That's some kind of a heavy one there on the LGBTQ. But I don't know why, over this week, it looks like it is also becoming very rampant and dominant in the stories. Well, we live to see. You can also send us your message on 0202-085-888, 0202-085-888. Let me read your message. This one says, I think it's a continuation to that one. It says campaign. So why are they not signing the bill? Okay, so I think I read that part of the message. You can also send us your message this morning as we read it out right here on the workshop. Before we take a quick turn, Nana, any other thing to touch on?
I think a little bit on the LGBTQ thing.
Okay.
We are neglecting to see the impact of it, because like somebody said, awufubia for no phone or other strikes in the back from Moria, no way no phone, no way cartoons, no other check. But all of these things, all these animes, all of these cartoons have been laced with the whole the LGBTQ thing. So there's a bigger conversation about passing the bill, but have they gone into what it actually looks like, especially for the generations that are coming? Because these cartoons, trust me, a question cartoons will be there. Mobiles in Frozen. See, princess in or best friend if you're ABC or Ophelia, all feelings man. But kids are watching these things, and there's no parental oversight with these things because we're in the phone now. We cartoons. Do you know what else they're also watching on that phone? But we have anime studios here in Ghana. Government can actually make that effort of contracting them to make content that is suitable for our culture, for our heritage, suitable for what we stand for as Ghanaians. I would applaud what the guy is saying, but it's something that we have to probe into. We are looking at the big thing. Yes, was he a politics Nazi? But on the grassroots, these things are seeping in through our culture, and the kids think it's normal. There's no parental oversight. There's no jurisdictions. It also goes into this whole social media thing that last time I can watch them. So there are bigger conversations to be had, and the things that we need to look into when it comes to these issues.
And I think just like you are saying, and you cite an example, you would think that they are watching cartoons. So, okay, cartoon. Let me just allow them to be. But the content within the cartoon is now gearing towards LGBTQR, and you wouldn't be there to see what they are watching.
Yeah.
Before you know, they are picking up the ideas. Oh, okay, if I have feelings towards the same gender, it's okay.
Because my parents gave me the phone to watch content, and they are not restricting me towards whatsoever.
Well, we see where that bill will lead to, if it will still be presented to Parliament again, and if Mama says he's ready to assent on that bill. All right, so we've got the big conversation coming up together with other things right here on the workshop. We'll be right back.
You are listening to the workshop on TW Radio 88.9.
Midnight and morning, trying to see I call it. When me one or two girls in the be my pool, frame it daddy, man of frame it daddy, yeah. And you're busy tonight, then you rain me no war. Agenda for my page, put them for your day, so me no war. Agenda for my page, and you're busy tonight, then you rain me no war. Agenda pulling up is a scene. The trip is necessary. Fine girls from my teeny, that they will facility. Your figures on your head, that is pretty normal. You there for my setting, you're not leaving sober. Am I alright? My mama number. Frame it daddy, man of frame it daddy, yeah. And you're busy tonight, and you made me know agenda for my page, put them for your day, so me know agenda for my page, and you're busy tonight, and you made me know agenda.
You are listening to the workshop on TW Radio 88.9.
Pause, recharge, refresh, repeat. TW Radio.
Midnight and morning, trying to see I call it. When me one or two girls in the be my pool, frame it daddy, man of frame it daddy, yeah. And you're busy tonight, then you rain me no war. Agenda for my page, put necessary. Fine girls from Martini, that they want facility. Figures on your head, that is pretty normal. You there from my setting, you're not living sober. Am I around? My mama number. From a daddy, I know from a daddy, yeah. And you're busy tonight, and you made me know.
And it's the agenda of the day. This morning, we're looking at the new site that is earmarked for the 24-hour market for Cape Coast. And the conversation is ongoing. And you can let us know what you think about that issue. We'll be having a conversation later on today. We'll be getting the PRO for the assembly to speak with this morning. I want to know what is the brain behind getting a new place, demarcated place, or designated place for the 24-hour model market for the Central Region or for Cape Coast, and not try to finish what has been started already. So you can send us your questions, your contributions ahead of time. What question do you have for the PRO when he sits down in the studio? What question is on your mind? Let me ask for you on 0202-085-888. If you've got any question on your mind and you want to know why is the assembly or why is the mayor signing a new contract for a market space differently from what is already known to be the Anafo market. Any questions you've got this afternoon or this morning, I want to ask all those questions for you. So send me your messages or WhatsApp or text on 0202 085 888. But there's been some concerns, and I will be reading some of them out to you. This one, it says that the MPP government left the Atta Mills Memorial Library to decay. And now the NDC government is supposedly is letting the Anafo market rot too. Cape Coast is not developing because of this partisan politics. The 24-hour economy market initiative is a good move. But why do you not fix and operationalize the Anafo market before you tackle the 24-hour economy market? So these are some of the concerns. Continuously says that you cannot make Cape Coast a tourism or development hub and expect to not follow what the masses expect. So this is another thing, calling on the mayor to fix Anafo market, perhaps expand it or let that run, and think of getting another one for the 24-hour market for Cape Coast. So these are some of the concerns. And this one says that clearly people of Cape Coast are not happy, and it is all over the media and everywhere. They should complete and operationalize their Anafo market first before tackling the 24-hour economy market, or build any additional market if they wish. So there's also a concern that there is even Kotokraba market phase 2 that remains unattended to. So all these projects needs to be attended to before we see something new, and in the nearby future there's another government and that is also left to rot. So these are some of the concerns, and like I said, this morning we'll be having that conversation. We want to know what is the brain, what is the plan, what thinking went into discovering a site for a 24-hour market for Cape Coast and not trying to better the Anafo market, which as we speak, the roofings are off because of the rains. As we speak, we can't say it is in its best shape because of the weather conditions that has dealt with the facility at the moment. So, well, this is some of the concerns, and we hope to have answers to them. And like I said, on Friday, April 10, the mayor of Cape Coast, Honorable Judge Justice Arthur, led the signing of a contract for the construction of a 24-hour market for Cape Coast. 24-hour, where we believe that it is going to run from morning to evening to the next day, day in, day out. There's been concerns again that even when you go to Abra, it is already an indirect 24-hour place that is running. So why don't the assembly invest in places like this, expand them, get them what they need, and make the place more attractive? So these are the questions, these are the concerns, and I believe you've also got some of the questions and concerns on your mind. And before we start our conversations, you can send the questions and concerns ahead of time on 0202-085-888. Send the questions and let me ask on your behalf as well. And there's some more concerns, and this one says it is refreshing to see that in some serious cities, the 24-hour market initiative is being used to complete long abandoned markets that were also started by previous government. No wonder those cities are far ahead of Cape Coast and other cities. And this one says that they really understand politics better than Cape Coast, and this is what that concern says. However, in our so-called city of First, the story appears different, and a city widely regarded as producing some of the most enlightened people. We are prepared to abandon Anafo market project, which is said to be about 80% complete, and rather build a new market in a quiet and bushy area simply to score political points and satisfy certain interests. So this morning I will be finding out, is the project to score political points, or is really for the development and for the people of Cape Coast? So the concern still goes on to ask that, what kind of politics are we practicing in Cape Coast? Why abandon the nearly completed project instead of finishing what has already been started? So this is our agenda this morning. Like RC says, agenda. That is our agenda this morning. So I'll be waiting on your messages and your questions this morning on 0202-085-888. 0202-085-888. Let us know what you think all the contributions are on the proposed 24-hour market. But in the meantime, let's go for Tourism Daily, and when I come back, we'll set sail.
Home proud, 100% Cape Coast. TW Radio.
Tourism Daily, showcasing the essence of Cape Coast, one destination at a time.
I want you to just walk us through what this place is.
All right, so basically this is St. Jago, as you rightly said, which literally means James. Yes. So at a point in 1500, it was used by the Portuguese as a chapel.
Wow.
Yes, it happens to be a temple structure. You know, the Portuguese happen to be Catholic. So that was a temple structure for them when it comes to worship. But later on, we're looking at an attempt that was made by the Dutch when it comes to trying to take over the castle from them. You know, at the peak aspect of slavery, every Europeans or the Europeans wanted to use who was to control slave trade. So that was when the Dutch came in to defeat Portuguese here.
Okay.
But before they were able to defeat them, they had already tried several times from the seaside. They could not. But on the third time was when they used this one as an advantage point. So at a point, they used the seaside and this one at the same time. So while the Portuguese were focusing more of their attention on the seaside, they were being defeated from here by the help of the natives. So when they took over, they had a mindset that if they leave this place empty, other Europeans might also come to use the same place to defeat them when they were to take over the building. So ideally, when they took over, they now built this fort purposely for soldiers to be here to watch over the castle.
So this wasn't the original structure.
Exactly.
They had certain renovations about it.
Sure.
Okay, so you mentioned it was temporary for church.
Chapel, yeah, sure.
But then I see the ground we're standing on, and I don't think it looks very temporary.
Right.
So that was what happened when they wanted to.
Exactly, yeah.
So when you say they were trying to defend from the sea, was the Elmina Castle built already?
Yes. You know, that is the first stone building that was built in West Africa, and that aspect of it.
Wow.
So when that was built, you know, Portuguese were looking at the clever aspect of their strategy when it comes to security. They had a mindset that it is only the Europeans who can fight against them.
Okay.
They were looking at the early introduction of weapons. And before the Europeans would definitely come to attack them, they would come from the seaside. And we're also looking at the means of transportation at the time. And due to that, more focus of the Portuguese was on the seaside and the back view. So if we do go up, I'll show you something. The castle you see down there, the front view of it lie on the seaside.
Okay.
While the back view is in town.
So what we see from here
is the back view
of the castle.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the front view lie on the seaside. So ideally, they built security posts in the front view for soldiers to be there to be watching over there. Right. So when the Dutch were here, they could not see at the early stage.
Okay.
By the time they realized they were being defeated.
Okay. So just as the Fort William, you see the vantage point to which it was built was one of the reasons why the British could defeat anybody coming at any point.
Sure.
But Elmina is by the shore.
Sure.
So they couldn't see from afar when the attackers were coming.
Exactly.
So is that the reason why they had to fortify this place as a means of security?
Sure. So when the Dutch they took over, they were being smart enough in the sense that this being a hilly place, to secure this one, so this will serve not only for the castle, but also from town. So when you are here, you could see the whole view of Elmina.
Wow. So like you mentioned, they were defeated with the help of the indigents.
Exactly.
Okay, so they needed to watch their back while they were
Sure.
Okay.
So that's what happened. So we actually have 3 hills here.
Wow.
This is the Jago Hill. We have the Java Hill, I'll show you, and then we have the St. Joseph Hill.
Okay.
Which is situated with where we have the Basilica Church.
Okay.
Yes, so that's how it happened. So this is the most highly aspect of it all when it comes to seeing the whole view of Elmina.
Wow.
Yes.
So when you stand here, you can have an aerial view
of
all of Elmina.
Everything of Elmina.
So take us back again. When this place was built, the indigents, how were they relating to the people here?
Right, so this is what happened. You know, when the Portuguese actually came in with the pretense that they are here to trade and to spread Christianity, it was the mindset of the native that they are good people.
Okay.
But when they shifted to slavery, they now tend to be bad people to the natives.
Wow.
So ideally, the native wanted people who could also help them to kick out the Portuguese.
Okay.
Now, the Dutch settled in a place called Mori, which is about more or less on your way to Accra.
Yeah.
Right. So when they settled there, they also were doing the normal trading with those people there. So hearing the aspect of the Dutch, they had a mind that they could be good people than the Portuguese.
Because they hadn't started slavery then.
Yes.
Okay.
So they wanted to help them to kick away the Portuguese, to stop this or eliminate this kind of slavery.
So
Tourism Daily, showcasing the essence of Cape Coast, one destination at a time.
You're welcome to Kowa Wellness Minute, your trusted source of practical health education and preventive care. This segment is proudly brought to you by Kowa Research and Manufacturing Limited Company, producers of Kowa Mixture, Kowa Plus Mixture, Kowa Capsules, and Kowa MT Mixture, improving your health the natural way. Today on Kowa Wellness Minute, we are looking at what causes menstrual disorder and warning signs women should not ignore. Menstrual disorders can be malaria or typhoid free.
You are listening to the Workshop on TW Radio 88.9.
And you're welcome back to the workshop here on 88.9 TW Radio. And time now for us to get talking our conversation this morning. Like I said, you can send in your contributions, your questions on 0202085888. And I am privileged to have the Public Relations Officer for Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly, Mr. Patrick Yeboah Hayford, seated in the studio with me right here, and we'll be delving into that conversation. Well, let's get into it. Mr. Yeboah, good morning once again.
Well, good morning, my brother.
Thank you so much for honoring our invitation and coming.
It's always a privilege. I mean, when given opportunity to explain some of the lingering issues in Cape Coast on a huge platform like TW Radio. Right. And so we always cherish these opportunities given to us to let the people of Cape Coast be informed of some of the decisions that have gone on relative to developmental issues.
Great, but before we get into it, I see the Assembly is planning a 1 year. How has it been so far?
Well, so far, so good. I think that what we need to bear in mind is that aside God's providence in taking us through journeys of life, there is also the need to use every opportunity given to us to account to people what you've done over the years when it comes to what has been entrusted into our hands. So it's not just a 1 year celebration. It's about accounting to the people what you have achieved so far, and also providing a platform for the citizenry to tell you the direction that they think we can all take in making Cape Coast great. So I actually don't see it as a celebration of a 1 year anniversary, but it also provides you the opportunity, one, to account to the people and also interact with your citizens. And then, you know, the normal thing, do some charitable work, you know, just to thank God for giving you the grace to go through a year.
I think it's a good thing to just clarify, because people were concerned, why anniversary? We've never heard of anything like that. Why a 1 year anniversary?
Well, I think I've also heard those concerns as well. I think it's incumbent on us to explain and educate people why people think that we have huge challenges, for want of a better word, and then we choose to have a 1 year anniversary. If you look at the program outline, you know, the things that people actually haven't paid attention to has to do with the series of activities that are earmarked for the 1 year. So you are talking about the media tour where we will come to TW Radio to interact with the people of Cape Coast. You know, it is time that we make local governance accessible to people. So where you sit on platforms and give people the opportunity to freely ask the questions that ordinarily they wouldn't get the opportunity to do. So it's part of the celebration that we'll be doing. And then, apart from giving chance to people to call in and ask questions, we are also doing what you call town hall meetings. But town hall meetings are requirements for every municipal district or metropolitan assembly. And we want it to be part of the 1 year, where we've chosen a particular site to be done in Cape Coast North. Interact with our traders, the policemen, the immigration officers, every institution that matters in Cape Coast. Water, we are having challenges with water issues. You get the Water West people to be at that forum and for people to ask them questions. It's all part of the anniversary. Apart from that, we also hope to make donations to the School for the Deaf. They are in dire need. We've made them we pay them couple of visits, and anytime that we go there, it's a sorry state. You look at people that are visually challenged, people that are have hearing impairment, and are being neglected. Why don't you use this 1 year anniversary to solicit for funds in making sure that some of their plight or challenges are being addressed? It's part of the 1 year anniversary. Wow. And then there's a need also to have kind of collaboration with institutions in Cape Coast. That's where the football gala comes in. And people think that it's just about fanfare. Yeah. No, the media will be present. There's a need for the district assembly or the municipal assembly to have a good relationship with the media. Apart from that, other institutions that are also in our jurisdiction have also expressed interest to be part of this fan game. Last week or so, I had a call from the president of Sports Writers Association saying that we can't do this without them. They also need to be part of it for us to have a good relationship. So the attention should not focus on just the pit of the football gala that people seem to be talking about, but we should look at the itinerary and what goes into that. To end on that one, we are even doing health screening and then free renewal of health insurance cards as part of the anniversary, which ordinarily these things we didn't get. All these things are coming through the sponsorship of individuals and well-meaning people. We don't want to stress the assembly with a certain budget just because somebody is celebrating his 1 year anniversary. Why don't you find ways and means to galvanize support in doing some of these social intervention programs? And so that's how we are going about it so far.
That's great. I'm happy you've given a rundown of everything, just for those doubting. But again, when you can mix it up with the Fanti and all that.
Okay, that's okay. I'm a true Fanti.
I can do my English and do the Fanti and all that. But on Friday, we got the news that the mayor led a group to sign, a contract. What we are hearing is a 24-hour market that will be for Cape Coast. There's been a lot of hearsays on the ground, and we found the need to get close to the assembly and get to find out, is it even true? And if it's true, what is the detail of this new 24-hour market?
Thank you very much. And this morning, I will say that we are privileged. I just passed by the office and pulled the whole contract documents. This is the first time that I'm bringing the document to a studio. It's quite voluminous.
I see.
I intentionally did that so that it settled some doubts about the 24-hour markets project. And I think that what we also need to understand as an assembly, the concerns being expressed by people are genuine.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, we would have asked the same questions if we were not privy to certain information.
Exactly.
And it shouldn't also look like everything is being thrown out there, hook, line, and sinker. We've asked questions upon questions. We've made moves upon moves to arrive at the decision that we've taken. So first of all, we need to understand that the 24-hour markets project is not Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly project.
Okay.
If I say it is not Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly project, what I mean is that it is not an initiative of the Metropolitan Assembly. In fact, by large, it is not an initiative by the MMDAs. It is a Government of Ghana project. Prior to the elections, President Mahama promised a 24-hour market, 24-hour economy initiative. And these are some of the things that the president hopes to do in fulfilling the promise of running a 24-hour economy. So one of the legs of the 24-hour economy is this 24-hour markets project. So it wasn't something that was, initiated by the municipal assembly, because that statement is very, very important for people to understand. Now, the role of the assembly, when you look at the contract document, interestingly, because it is not a CCMA initiative, the tendering and everything was not done by CCMA.
Okay.
I've had people saying that because the MC signed the contract, what it means is that they initiated that. But when you look at the contract and the portion of the MC, it reads agreement and letters, and it says in the presence of an authorized officer from the beneficiary MMDA. So the portion of the MCE is to assent to his part being the chief executive of a metro assembly.
Okay.
The contractor who tendered or won the bid to construct the market is Pabedu. You know, it is here. Let me get the contractor's name very well, because everything is here. Pabedu Construction Limited. That's the name of the contractor. And you realize that everything, even the tendering, were done by the regional coordinating director or the regional coordinating council, meaning that the region had to take control over some of these activities. The role of the assembly, as I said, is to make sure that they play more or less a supervisory role over that project. So we were tasked to search for a land, because government cannot come to Cape Coast and get a land. Our duty is to make sure we get a suitable land for the construction of the market. And don't forget, the name of the market is a 24-hour market. So the government envisages that he gets a place that probably is densely populated for the market to run on a 24-hour cycle.
Okay.
So first of all, we were tasked to do a community engagement to let people understand the need for a 24-hour market. And fortunately for us, we had a site at Adisadel, at a spot that they called Old Wayek Junction. That site was chosen because previously that place had been earmarked for the construction of a market. So people even used to call that place proposed. In fact, when you initially looked at a ballot or polling station identification, it was known as proposed market polling station. That was what initially it used to be.
Okay.
Because that land was left there for future construction.
But we had concerns of that place as well.
Exactly. So if a land has been left for proposed market center, then we are constructing a 24-hour market. Then ideally, that will be the place that it should be. Interestingly, we didn't even finish with our community engagement when we heard that people have moved bulldozers to the sites to do some construction work. So we waited, finished the community engagement, together with the MC, went to the site to question those who are, doing works at the place.
Okay.
It was then that we were told that it was from Immigration Service. So we quickly had to go to Accra. I was part of the delegation that went to Accra with the MC to appeal to State Housing. The land originally belongs to State Housing that they lease to Immigration Service. So we tried to cut a deal, and that's very important. People should bear in mind this statement. We tried to cut a deal with Immigration Service in the sense that we thought that Immigration Service should not even be at a place that looks very busy. So why don't we get them a site at a reserved place for us to use that place? That agreement did not materialize.
Okay.
Immigration did not heed to we swapping that land.
This is the first time you're hearing this.
That's the point. So as I said, it is incumbent on us. That's why I cherish this platform, for us to educate people on certain decisions that have gone on. So they did not heed to that, proposal of making sure that we give them a place somewhere and take that land. Yeah. So the next side that, because we were racing against time, the next side that we chose was in front of the new stadium. And interestingly, because the contractor was also in a hurry to construct, my brother, I wish you had cameras here. Yeah. You will see what the tendering process that the contractor put in had in its document. It says construction of 24-hour market. This is from Pabedu Construction Limited. And it made reference to Honorable Regional Minister, Regional Coordinating Council, acceptance of award of contract. It says project, construction of a 24-hour market for Cape Coast Metropolis at Abra. So when he had won the contract and was asking us of the sites, when the one at Adesada did not materialize, what we proposed was in front of the Cape Coast Stadium, which is Abra. So he quickly put it in his acceptance letter to the regional minister. That the assembly has given me a site.
So the document has been captured on our Facebook Live, as you can see. It has been captured. So if you are watching on Facebook, you can see the document he's talking about. It has been captured. You can go on.
At Abra, because he needed a site to put it in his acceptance letter to the regional minister. Then we needed to work out in securing that place. So we went to the Minister of Sports. Then he also made the statement that that place one is closer to an international stadium, and per international standards, you are not supposed to build a market in front of an international stadium.
Wow.
So it's a no-go area. Wow. Apart from that, National Sports Authority also have plans of future expansion for the facility at Abra. So if they give that part to us, now, one, it will defeat the purpose of an international stadium, meaning that Ghana might lose the right to hold international events at the stadium because you can't cite a market in front of a stadium, an international stadium. It's not the best practice. Apart from that, they also lose land for future expansion. So we lost that place too.
I see.
Then the MP for Cape Coast North, a very good and venerable member of parliament, Honorable Dr. Mintenyako, suggested that if you are struggling with land, why don't we, there's a land at Mempiasam. So quickly Assembly had to put its acts together in making sure we secure the land at Mempiasam. Then the consultant came in. In fact, before we even secure a place, the consultant comes in, inspects the site that you hope to construct, and gives his technical advice. Because we are not technical officers. He will tell you that this site is okay, it will meet the purpose of a 24-hour market cycle or model. This site is not okay. So he gives his technical advice even after we have, showed him a location. So he did his work and realized that Mempiasam, is far away from the busy centers of Cape Coast. So it will defeat the purpose of a 24-hour market. We put up a defense that we hope that the siting of a market at Mempiasam will probably open up the northern part of Cape Coast. But then he said in the interim that argument cannot suffice because they hope that when they put up the market, things will run as fast as they wish it to be.
It is not yet to pull people
exactly.
to that direction.
So we couldn't go to Mempiasam. So we're grappling, and then this suggestion of going to our current location, which is close to what we call the Regional Coordinating Council. People normally know the site to be at Ekwan Junction. We went there. After the assessment, it was agreed. I was part of the delegation again. The consultant agreed that upon his service, he realized the site is okay, though there are some works to be done at the field, which this morning I passed by. Excavators are there doing some grounds work. I've heard people raising the question of the place being a security zone. But what they have failed to realize is that there are business activities already going on at that site. And I'm sure if the place that they've given to us for the construction of this market falls within the security zone, RCC would not have leased the land to us. As I speak to you now, there are pubs that have sprung up at this location. There's a brick factory called Faster Limited at that site. So if it is a security zone,
they won't be allowed.
RCC obviously will not allow those businesses to be in that place. That should tell you that where they've given to CCMA to construct the 24-hour market does not fall within what people term as the security zones of the Regional Coordinating Council. So that one is also settled. So finally, this is where we have settled, and works are ongoing. We hope that the groundswork will be as quick as possible, because the contractor hopes to come to site next week to start his work. The groundswork are supposed to be done by CCMA, the municipal assemblies or the metropolitan assemblies, and then the contractor starts his work when the groundswork are done. So that is the trajectory of events that has made us land at our final site, being Ekwan Junction.
Interesting. That's quite a lengthy explanation. And if, for better words, should we say this was an already cooked project from government to the assembly, and all the assembly could do was direct where we could do it?
Exactly. The models, in fact, when you look at the documents, we fall under what you call slot 8. But then there are 3 models, model 1, model 2, model 3. Model 1 is for the district assemblies. And then the model 2 is for the municipal assemblies. And model 3 is for the metropolitan assemblies. it's very important to know these models because each model comes one with a land size and then the auxiliary facilities for that market. So if you belong to a district assembly, the land size that is required for a 24-hour market is different from the municipal and the metro assemblies. In fact, the metro assemblies are having 24-hour market with all the auxiliary facilities that are required to run a 24-hour market. So for Cape Coast, we need about 6 acres. We need 6 acres for our model. And then when you look at the auxiliary facilities, I will gladly share the plan that was given to us because everything was designed, from central government. You look at that, you'll be having police posts, you'll be having fire posts, we'll be having rest houses in them, we'll be having pharmacies, we'll be having cold stores, we'll be having more or less a plant for recycling, other facilities that the normal market do not have. We'll be having, educational centers in there. The structure of the market is quite different from the usual market that we see. So I've heard arguments, they probably will get there, but I'm putting the cart before the horse. Why don't we convert this to that? Because, it's all about market and all that. The model for this market is completely different from the usual market that we've been having.
But did the assembly have the chance to also advise government on this project?
Exactly. As I said, we do everything in tandem with government. Government's duty is to get you the contractor. Government duty is to get you a consultant who advise you as to the best practices that you can put in place. So it's not just like government throwing everything to us for us to swallow hook, line, and sinker. There are sometimes concessions. There are concessions that we make. We put an argument, the consultant says, yes, what you are saying is true. Another instructive point. In fact, when we were struggling with the land, we had to resort to both MPs to help us because it is government to government business. So if Immigration Service is under Honorable Muntaka, why don't you talk? He's a colleague MP. Why don't you talk to him so that we secure the land at Adisado? Then another challenge came in. Not knowing that the place that was designated for proposed market was used as a dumping site, as a refuse site for years. So when you go there currently, you see nice land. But then it has been filled. So if we really want to do real construction work, then you need to excavate all those heaps of rubbish that have been dumped here for years. Which, when you compare the costs relative to what is being done at RCC, obviously the one there is far better. Another challenge at that site is that there is a stream or a river connecting that flows to the lagoon. So you need to do lots of work at that place so that when you put the market there, in case there are heavy rains, the place doesn't get flooded. So there were absolutely challenges in that particular site. As you go there currently, we've been there, the land looks nice because it has been filled. But if you really want to do some groundwork, then you need to do a lot of excavation of refuse before you can get the land itself, with all attendant challenges that probably we thought that it wouldn't be prudent if you go that way.
You started running us through the type of the model. Can we go through the model of the market for the 24-hour market that we propose to have in Cape Coast?
Okay, I will get you just a few minutes. I'll get you the model so that we look at what goes into it.
While we wait for the model, you can also send in your questions and contributions to this conversation. We are speaking to Mr. Patrick Yeboah Hayford, the PRO for CCMA. I beg your pardon. And we are discussing the now haywire 24-hour market for Cape Coast, and I think he's giving some clarity on the matter.
Yes, I have the. So when you look at the content summary of the design, it says. The overview of the design, the government of Ghana has directed, that's the preamble, the government of Ghana has directed all assemblies to use 25% of their DACF to construct a market that will operate through the 24-hour market a day. Hence the name, the 24-hour market circle. So you look at the features of the market. It says they have 132 lockable shops, 132 open sheds, 160 open pavement selling areas. So I'll put out these details and then you compare that to the argument that other people are making that whether we can convert another market to fit this model. So 132 lockable shops, 132 open sheds, 160 open pavement selling areas, 10 warehouses, lorry terminal for commercial vehicles, lorry park for large trucks, meat shop for 10 vendors, environmental office, an office for a market manager, information center, parcel office with storage, 24 units of WC and showers, cold stores, police posts, fire posts and hydrants, 6-bed clinic, a pharmacy, refuse disposal and collection points, drainage system, food courts, livestock bay, crèche of about 40 peoples, women's bank. So the 24-hour market is going to have a women's bank in it, a mall or a supermarket, a restaurant, saloon or barbering shop, 6-bed hostel guest room, and it should be disability friendly. So that's the model. All these things are to be.
You can share that with us.
Yes, I can. I can do that.
Okay.
I can share it with you. So that's what involved in the building of the 24-hour market.
Interesting. It really sounds good to the ears. It sounds interesting, and this is all that the people of Cape Coast will be asking for, will be using in this modern market, and I think it's commendable. Let's look at the timelines.
Yeah.
Is this going to be the same 9-day wonder where we hear good policies, good projects, and for years we'll be waiting for them to materialize?
Yeah, so there are conditions clearly spelled out in the context. When you look at the table 3.32.1, it clearly spells out what the contractor needs to do before his certificate of completion is awarded to the person. But you look at the contract, it's envisaged that it will be finished within 36 calendar months. That's what it is in. And 36? Then 36 calendar months.
Okay.
You hope to complete it within 36 calendar months. And all the conditions are spelled in, delay of work and what the contractor will incur and all that. So we expect that the contractor will speed up work to meet the deadlines government has set. Because as I said, once you delay, you probably are delaying, your payments. And I'm sure the contractor, as I've known him for these past few days, and he being on our neck that we need to prepare the ground for him to move site, I hope that he will do a diligent job and meet the timelines as well.
Interesting. So, in the thinking, just like you've already purported, I'm sure you guys also thought about it. But why has it become so much of a noise on the grounds that the ANAFO market has been neglected? As you can see, you can look through the window.
Yeah.
I believe you see the state in which it finds itself.
Yeah.
What is the story? What should we expect?
Yeah. So, when you look at all these facilities that I've mentioned in the 24-hour market, it obviously defeats the argument that why don't we convert the ANAFO market into a 24-hour market.
Okay.
Because I'm a PR person, I follow social media very, very well to get to know the concerns of the people, that communicate to it effectively. This argument came into play because of a similar thing that has been done in the Ashanti region, where they have managed to convert an existing market into a 24-hour market model. That district that they did, as I said, was a district, not a metro.
Okay.
So these facilities that we have in our slot 8 would not be same for a district. That is one. The question then we should also be asking is, what is the land size of the market that was converted into a 24-hour market? And can the same be done with that of Anafo? Anafo is just here. Look at the land size. Are we going to have a space for large trucks? Are we going to have a space for lorry parks? Are we going to have a space for hostels? Are we going to have a space for sick bays? All these things cannot be done with the Anafo market. But that does not mean that such an edifice that I've put there, that is supposed to serve men and women of Cape Coast, should be left to rot. Yesterday, I was at another sister station, and interestingly, whilst I was, explaining things, the MC was listening. I'm sure this morning he was also listening, because you told me that you'll be following whether I am communicating well. That's just by the way. So, he has written several letters, and finally, from the conversation I had with him, the District Assembly Common Fund Administration has accepted to take over the Anafo market. We need to know the history surrounding the Anafo market. Anafo market was built under the Coastal Development Authority. Currently, because of realignment, that authority no longer exists. That is why funding for this project has become a problem.
Okay.
So if funding has become a problem, then we need to look at alternative sources to make sure we complete the market. That's why the MCE has reached out to the District Assembly to make sure they complete it. From the conversation I had with him yesterday, he says District Assembly has accepted and have tasked a particular bank to get the needed resources in completing the Anafo market. So Anafo market obviously will not be left in this state. It will be completed and operationalized, I'm sure, very soon. When he comes, he will give the details. He's still in Accra working out things concerning these things that we are talking about. And when he comes, obviously he will come to our studio to give details.
So let's put on record that the Anafo market will not be left to rot.
Definitely. It cannot. We will not even accept it being left to rot. Because, I've been to a place where our market women were relocated to what you call bonds, down. Yeah. And it's very appalling when it rains. I've had time to go there to interact with some of them, and we can't put our women, our mothers, in that sorry state. There's something that urgently we need to do about the market, and that is what the MCE has done so far.
I think you mentioned some 25% monetary fund for this project.
Exactly. So what government is doing is that the District Assembly Common Fund that has been uncapped. So now, funnily for us, there's regular flow when it comes to money for the assemblies. They have to use their 25% of the Common Fund to help with the preparatory stage. So the grounds that is being prepared are not part of the contract sum. Okay. This is what the assembly has to do in getting the site for the contractor. So that's why sometimes the assemblies, want to be very smart in making sure they get the land. If you had gotten the land that is straight, there are no challenges. It's even a hard advantage because we save money, even though government has allocated money. Probably you can use it for other equally important stuff. Now we need to get money in making sure we clear the site, in getting the land ready. Yes, the last 3 days I spoke with the guys that are working on the place, and to put on record, it's a real deal. I spoke with the drip coordinator, and he told me fuel for a day's work plus, more or less remuneration for the operators and all that is amounting to about 30,000 for the day. 30,000. And so he asked himself, if they do this work for about 1 week, multiply that by 30,000. That's quite huge, and that's the cost the assembly has to incur, making sure we clear the place for the contractor.
Let me read out some messages here. If you are listening to us, this is a conversation we are having on the proposed 24-hour market for Cape Coast, and I'm having a conversation with the PRO for CCMA, Mr. Patrick Yeboah Hayford. And there's a message here. This one says that I just love TW Radio. Nice conversation with your guest, Nee from Denhia. I thank you, Nee, for the message. And this one says that the MCE is confused as to where this building should be located. Mr. Speaker from Abu. I'm sure if you are listening, you can know that he took us through how they got to. The person said the MC is confused, but I'm saying that if you listened, you walk us through all the various.
It's one of those things.
Well, you can also send us a message, and later on, I think I'll try, and then if I'll give chance for some calls coming in for that. So let's look at the project now. You've given the timelines that 36 calendar months. When is work starting? Is it starting immediately, or these are just preparatory grounds for other things later on?
Yeah, so work has already started. As I said, they are doing the groundwork, which is part of the project. The contractor hopes to move to site hopefully by next week. If they are able to clear the land by the end of this week and get the place ready, he will move to site next week, God willing. So
let's look at side by side. In a case where the 24-hour market is completed, ANAFO is completed, what picture should we expect, or what picture are we going to look at?
See, that's one thing that people do not also understand.
They think that one will sabotage one, but in the minds of the assembly, what is the thinking?
We need to understand what informed this 24-hour market. That's why I read the preamble. Let me repeat that again. And when you look at the preamble, that's the document that I've shared with your producer. Okay. It says overview of the design. The third part, it says the 24-hour market. It is aimed to significantly reduce youth unemployment and revamp the local economy and close the infrastructure gap. So that's what we hope that these markets would achieve. One, once you construct these, if you are going to put up health facilities, you employ people to man that place. In fact, the market will even have a market manager with his offices and all that. So it doesn't spoil anything having a market at ANAFO and one at the place, because what we also need to do is that what the 24-hour market will have, the ANAFO market doesn't have. So it will complement what we have at ANAFO market. When you go to advanced countries, it is only in the developing countries that we are having these challenges. You have a whole mall, which probably is as large as maybe the half size of Cape Coast, and people patronize it, these places. There are no challenges with some of these things. I think there have been systemic failure, one, that I need to concede with the way we manage one, land size, and two, the way we go about government projects in general. Okay. I have had personal challenges with the way some of these things go. If you have been very meticulous in the way we manage land tenure in Cape Coast and in Ghana in general, we wouldn't be having some of these challenges.
Well, there are concerns as to if the contractor has been paid, and also what is going to be issues of where they are citing an example with the Kotokraba market, where there was a disenfranchising issue. What is going to be the state for this one?
Yeah, so obviously the contractor cannot be paid when work is not completed. Okay. And one thing that we should also bear in mind is that the president, as part of making sure we save money, being financially prudent, has cancelled what you call mobilization money. Initially, when people win contracts, they are given a percentage of the contract sum as mobilization money. And we had a series of challenges with people taking that money and not going to work. So this time around, there's nothing like mobilization money. You source for your fund. When the project is completed and the certificate is awarded, then your payment is done. A bit of the Kotokraba market that you cited, because it's also another challenge. Yeah. We had engagement with the Exim Bank that constructed, that funds were sourced from, loans were contracted to construct the Kotokraba market. The idea behind the Kotokraba market is that it will be a self-financing project, meaning that when loans are contracted and you get revenue, you create an escrow account and then you pay money into it for it to defray the loans that you owe. Unfortunately, that was not done. Kotokraba market has two phases. What we are seeing there is a phase one. We are supposed to do a phase two, but the phase two is subsequent to how well we service our debt for the phase two to be done. So, as I talk to you now, when they came, when the Exim Bank and the contractors came, they realized that there are challenges with payments. Okay. And so what we have done, what the Assembly has done through the MC, is to write to the Minister of Finance for them to take that debt, because we need a phase two urgently, to take government of Ghana to take that debt, instead of that debt being in the books of the Assembly, so that it will pave the way for the construction of the phase two. And as I said, brother, let's be blunt. When you look at what is happening at Kotokraba, I don't think it's something that we should put politics aside. If I'm to be very frank, I will call it a crime scene. Markets are supposed to be what you call pro-poor projects. when we say project, what it means is that the rent that you charge should be something that should be very moderate, so that people can occupy and go about their businesses. And you are not supposed to sublet a store or a space to anybody because it's a project. So if you go in for a store, because it's a project, probably you are charged 100 cedis, very affordable, so that you can occupy it and go about your business. But you had individuals going for these stores, some 5, some 6, and then subletting it to some institution, sometimes for 15 years. And when they are charged 100 cedis for the assembly, sometimes they charge as high as 600 to 1,000 cedis to the institutions that they sublet to. You talk about it, the usual politics. But look at the states of the market. Huge infrastructure challenges. So I think that some of these conversations should be done devoid of the usual noise of politics. Let's look at what is best for Cape Coast and how well we can build Cape Coast. When we took the project guys, the Chinese guys to the place, and the report that they wrote, probably I need to search for it and share it with your producers. It's damning. Go to where they had a fountain. It's no longer functioning. It was done to beautify the marketplace. Containers have been erected haphazardly at these places. So it becomes very sad when you try to tackle these things and then people come in and say you are sacking them from the market when they know very well that what they are doing is not right. So probably maybe you can have another conversation for Kotokowa market specifically to settle some of the nuances concerning it.
Exactly. Let's go back to after the market is completed, who will be moving into the new market? Which people will be occupying it?
Fortunately, unlike the Anafo market where we had already existing occupants, where there should be the first point of call, this is a completely new market. So I'm sure, Assembly will do a meticulous work. We wouldn't have a situation where people who are not supposed to be in the market, when I say people are not supposed to be in the market, I mean making it so hard for our traders to be in there. I think that they should find a way. Assembly will definitely have a way of sharing the shirts and other posts for people to go about their businesses. My mother was at the Kotokowa market. I was born in the Kotokowa market, and I know the challenges that happened. The agreement that they had with the market women, some of them, was that they should leave the place when the market is constructed. The first point of call will be the initial inhabitants. But there are huge challenges where people that were originally occupying the place were not given the opportunity to occupy. That also accounts for people, it's not a justification, but also accounts for people selling along the stretch of the street, because you have taken what belongs to them and given to people that do not deserve it. And where exactly do you want them to be? So I hope we will learn from these lessons and not replicate the same with the 24-hour market model that we are putting up.
All right, so we've been talking with Mr. Patrick Yeboah for PRA for CCMA. We'll be coming back to wrap up after this break. Please stick and stay.
Decisions I made in Cape Coast, are you ready for comfort, class, and convenience all in one place? Then it's time to experience Hotel Francilia, located at Akai Chrome just off Cape Coast Efutu Barrier. Hotel Francilia is your go-to destination whether you are visiting, hosting, or just taking a break. From comfortable rooms to a refreshing swimming pool, plus fully equipped conference and meeting spaces, everything you need is right here. Planning a meeting, a workshop, or just a relaxing getaway, Hotel Francilia delivers the perfect blend of business and leisure. And that's not all. We serve some of the tasty meals from African to continental dishes, and we also serve pizza daily at your request. For inquiries and reservations, please call 0553 416 125. Hotel Francilia, your space, your comfort, your experience.
Urban Mix is the refresher mid-morning show. The freshest mid-morning show on TW Radio 88.9 with the audacious Miss Brown. Every Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. We really do have it all. A premium blend of music, entertainment, and chat. We serve you the best morning dose.
Urban Mix, they fresh on mid-morning.
low timber radio, beating the night.
And you are welcome back from that break. This is still the workshop with me, Sarah Roy, and we've been talking about the new 24-hour market model that is being planned to take over. I've got some messages here. Let me read them out and get the PR involved. This one says, I think Mempasem should really be contested because it will open Cape Coast. They should consider long-term, not short-term. Everything is in Cape Coast South. Why? Ni from the here. I think he tried to explain why when they went to Mempasem, the issues there. He will still clarify on that one again. This one again says, don't forget Abura is very busy than the whole Cape Coast South at night. All the South, he says, all the South have is beachside but can't beat Abra. So everywhere in North should have been considered, especially Abra, Mempasem, Efutu, etc. Let's think long term to why Abba. Then here, okay, near against this one. I'm sure he's taking note, and then we'll. Can't we have two major markets in Cape Coast, one in North and one in South? Kotokraba market for South and 24-hour market for North. Okay, since that one again. So these are some of the concerns. Again, there's a concern where there's an ask that what are the plans for the future in case the site for the 24-hour market is setting up for estate? What are the plans that it won't conflict with the market? People won't start setting up, Ubia manicures and all those. What is the plan into the future for that as well? I think you addressed that in the
that's what I said, that it's incumbent on authorities to take a cue from what has happened at Kotokraba and Anafu, and let it be a guide for them for the 24-hour market. We had challenges with markets which are built beautifully, and then we allow containers to sprout up everywhere. We need to just act and act decisively. Once these models have been created, which accommodates the big and the small, we should stick to these guidelines. That's why, in the wisdom of the designer, they looked at lockout board stores. They even look at pavement selling areas to accommodate probably the tomato seller, the onion seller. So I don't see the reason why we should allow people to be putting up unauthorized structures at places that are not designated to be so. So definitely that one will be done, making sure that we safeguard the place for the market. But then somebody asked a very interesting question, which I need to respond to. I think I've explained why we couldn't go to the Mempasem and then Abra. As I said, we even had envisaged that the site for Abra will be secured. So that's what we communicated to the contractor to even put it in acceptance letter. So it shouldn't be that we are doing something untoward against Cape Coast. And that conversation is very unfortunate. What we should be fighting for is Cape Coast Metro is at a huge disadvantage. Okay. And that is what I expect people to be championing. When the State Assembly Common Fund is disbursed, last time when the MC had opportunity to meet the Public Account Committee, he reiterated that what we need to fight for is for funds that can settle Cape Coast North and South. See, I'm not being, for want of better word, disrespectful or demeaning any district or metro. But I look at maybe an assembly like Abra Asebuko Amankasi. If Cape Coast receives, it has only one constituency. If Cape Coast receives 2.5 million Ghana cedis for the first quarter of the District Assembly Common Fund, Abra Asebuko Amankasi receives same. But Abra Asebuko Amankasi has only one district or one constituency. Okay. So if you are supposed to do 2 chip compounds, they have the advantage of doing the 2 in their constituency. We have 2 constituencies in one metro. So you are forced to cite 1 in the north and 1 in the south, instead of having 4, so that we can put 2 in the north and 2 in the south. That conversation people have not alluded their minds to. And again, I hear people saying that everything is about south, 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 south. And I've challenged people on countless occasions. Because everything that we do, all the projects that we do that in consultation with assembly members from the north and from the south. Because we look at the composition of the General House that approves some of these projects. It is made up of assembly members from the north and from the south. And obviously they can't sit and allow all projects to be in the south. That is the first point. The second point too is that We do it in consultation with both MPs from the north and from the south. And knowing Honorable Dr. Mintai Nyakuna, how hard he can hit, you think that he will sit down and allow all projects to be in the south?
Not at all.
We should be asking ourselves, if it is about cheap compound, we are doing one at Basakrum, one at Brofiedu. If it is about boreholes and we are doing 20, 10 in the north, 10 in the south. Recently, and that's an interesting part that I challenge those who are advancing that argument to provide a proof. Recently, we commissioned some educational facilities. The one that we did as a switch, my brother, was a 6-unit classroom block. The one that we did in Cape Coast South was a KG block. Which one is expensive? A 6-unit classroom block with other auxiliary facilities and a KG block. So what should the Cape Coast South people also say? That are we giving much attention to the north than the south? So that argument is non-starter. It started from when they were repairing the street lights. And this morning I had a chance to share even the schedule of the contractor relative to the repair works of the street light with some people. And when you look at what is being done by the contractor, you realize that, I will share it with your producer again, there is even distribution of resources in the northern part and in the southern part, because government does not consider the metro as north and south. Okay. He considers it as one metro. We do those divisions and making sure that there is equity in the sharing of resources. So when people advance this argument that everything is about south, 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 I think that it doesn't augur well for the conversation. What they should rather be pushing for is an increase in the allocation of our district assembly common fund. Because I feel that we are being cheated. So that if you have a metro that is hosting 2 major constituencies, we will have enough resources. So if a district assembly is having 2 projects, we'll be having 4 to serve north and to serve the southern part as well.
All right, I think I will be wrapping up a few messages here. This one says that good. So why should we share the same amount with AAK? Let's fight for this to change.
That's the point.
It's truly totally unfair. Tell the MPs to fight it. That's a good one there. This one also says that, Sarah, honestly, the PR is doing his job very well. Well, until I see the project materialize, I will still be in doubt. I trust this guy, so I don't trust this guy, so okay, Mike, you're from Econ. Again, this one says, please, good morning, and my name is Joe from Commercial Street. My concern is Victoria Park youngsters are killing their talent. Please, they should do something. Okay. I wanted to activate the phone lines, but I think I'll give chance to a few calls. So you can call 0202 085 888 0202 085 888 if you want to call and contribute. I've read some messages. Perhaps you want to call and then speak to the issue yourself. 0202 085 888. You can call before we wrap it up. But until then, any final message to the issue so far?
Thank you very much once again for giving us the opportunity to explain and I believe settle some of the nuances concerning the 24-hour market and then an AFO market as well. What I would advocate for, is it's a passionate, conversation which will lead to the development of Cape Coast. I have colleagues.
Let me cut you for just a minute. There's a call. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Please, your name, where are you calling from?
Okay.
Much are you too?
Yeah, because in common. Yeah, on time fra, no the Biafra. But you too much in painful people, but you be an answer your people.
Yeah, Pacho, your bed, sir. Pacho, your bed, sir. All right. Yeah, that's very pretty. I think that I carried you away with the English, so but that's good. Please go ahead.
Well, for the sake of our
you over wrap it up in a fancy.
Yeah. My master any day. One ma kasa ni nyina nya kasa obobo hen ma Cape Coast nimpuntu akwa n'enyim. Yes, yebotumi ya ye hene politics bi a yepe. And I menyeme nyankofo menye wane kasa. There I schooled at Infantipim. So I'm a true mobile. Anytime I busy any speech day, Yaboko school no. I have my classmates I work at and I that grows. What's it? ye fi Cape Coast so many years. Cape Coast more time. In fact, wakada masam na oyeda agruza but mokomampada I think so much about it. Inti ochade so ye ho so ye time munyo. Onye za ohwehwe nye de ya da me ya da. Mo ohwehwe anye de nye nyina ye be ya adweno kor. Na za obobo Cape Coast ye tumi ya ye. Aya meka kire nkofo. Anytime I hear your program bia me free there or there ye consultative bia. And the MCE you know abo bebre. Nancy any 8-year development plan no one some Nazia. Oshe, they invite the political actors. And I remember former MC at a point in time, very gracious, not so bad. And the Damazin here, means the political party be or when it's him there, and no one manifesto that member mobile Cape Coast arbor. Obia woman that member might develop Cape Coast into Obia wa Janapa. But ye challenging ye in some na yake cano. About Facebook. People are one ye in Tase was a ye who na why are Robert share why and some be a sebi for Subiano. Recently, Ms. Rio Crano, there was a conversation also 8-year development plan, one man paying me letter, one man a letter. So how to call him make a brother? That means you may you with him. On your issue about a ball letter or more letter. I will copy of the 8-year development plan. Every paying as a wija. The mazi na ejina baby akade. Epewo Cape Coast nimpuntu. Fortunately, or one card team the epedeye. Who contribution on any then? Like what Mr. Itwaful is doing. Fantastic man. Actually, Facebook here. Every day, opedem kofu who is orokodo. And anytime I mean a chance, me to know bia. Okay. I say, Pato, it is possible in Cape Coast. It is possible in Cape Coast. Into why can't we say there it is possible in Cape Coast? Na yenina ya ni develop Cape Coast, but probably the next few years Cape Coast the New York of US na no one can count. Into what me na enjoy dam etim na aka man keten ye no ye ye no sha se ye no yedam ye no yedam na yam build the Cape Coast to a leveler dachi ye na yebotumi yes yense siam bone yakade we all contributed our quota to the development of Cape Coast.
Thank you so much. And I've been speaking to Mr. Patrick Yeboah for PRO for CCMA. It is possible in Cape Coast. Thank you so much for staying with us right here on 88.9, wherever you listen to us, even on Facebook watching us. Thank you so much. This has been the workshop with me, Sir Roy, and I'll be making way for Urban Mix with Miss Brown. My name is Sir Roy. God willing, tomorrow morning we'll come once again. It is possible in Cape Coast. Bye-bye. Kaja Israel, Kaja Egypt, Kaja Ethiopia, Kaja Sudan, Kaja Shon. Kaja Igushima, you know, Wanime Kona, Kaja Shon. So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, you know, Kaja Shon. Kaja Shon.
Workshop on TW Radio 88.9.
Jetaki no sumanguru, you know walk where what you show. Oset to you know, Bamasa, you know, Yasan, you know what you show. Kaja Israel, Kaja Egypt, Kaja Ethiopia, Kaja Sudan, what you show. Akwaka, you know what you have for Kalacha, I get you more one year, and in your friend. Akwaka, you know what you have for Kalacha, I get you more one year, and in your friend. I'm a Caminian Matu, I'm a Cavonian Motu, I'm a Cavonian Watumo. I'm a Caminian Matu, I'm a Cavonian Watu, I'm a Cavonian Watumo. I'm a Cavonian Watumo, we not a catch more walk our banya. Can you change inside your mama? Can you change inside your mama? Can you change inside my mama? Can you change inside your mama? You mama, if I change inside your mama. What you mean when I change inside my mama? What you mean when I do not my mama? Can I change inside your mama? Can I change inside your mama? I you more one year, I forget I get you more 1 year, I'm a young thing. I you more 1 year, I forget.
say me no fit jump. Them say you no fit jump. Them say we no fit jump.